I'm Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone. Today we will be revealing the results of our 6th Traffic Study Annual Report. This information is a compilation of all the traffic stops conducted by deputies within this organization and how they make determinations on when they cite individuals within our community. The goal of the report is to identify any disparate treatment, meaning are there particular groups of people who are cited more frequently than another category of people, which would be unacceptable. My job as the sheriff is to identify any disparate treatment, to root out the facts, and then make a determination if any of our employees are behaving in a way that could be determined as biased policing, which would be unacceptable and would not be tolerated. The facts speak for themselves, and we will continue to work hard to address these issues with the hopes that this organization will reflect the greatest values of law enforcement, where everyone is treated equally under the law, and you could expect that when you encounter and engage with a deputy within our organization, that you'll be treated with respect. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Zoe Thorkeldsen. I'm a senior research scientist with CNA, a research and analysis organization based in Virginia. I serve as the project director for CNA's support to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in producing the Traffic Stops Annual Analysis. Here today to talk to you about the results from the 2020 analysis of traffic stops. This covers traffic stops that were conducted between January and December of 2020. I want to start with a brief introduction regarding traffic stops analysis. Approaches to traffic stops analysis have evolved over time. Approaches used to be mainly descriptive, they moved to more correlational approaches, and now the typical standard is to use a quasi-experimental approach called propensity score matching. That's the approach that we use for our analysis of Maricopa County Sheriff's Office's stops. Also, there's been a movement from using external benchmarking measures, so measures that are generated from census population data, to instead using internal benchmarking. This involves comparing stops within the agency. While an established best practice has remained elusive over time, the method that we use in our analysis is considered the best practice at this point in time. To provide a brief overview of the exact methods we use, when we're analyzing stop rates, we use descriptive statistics only. For 4 stop outcomes, we use propensity score matching. That is for stop length, analysis of citations versus other stop outcomes, searches, and arrests. In addition, we analyze seizures during searches using a test called the chi-square test. Here on this slide, you see the results from both this year's as well as the last 2 traffic stops annual reports. I'm going to highlight a few findings on this slide, focused primarily on the analysis of Hispanic versus white drivers. So we see that over time, there's been a lot of consistency in terms of the statistical significance indicated with the check marks on this chart. We also see that there's been relative consistency with the differences that are observed in the data. For example, for stop length, the differences ranged from about 1.1 minutes to about a little over 3 minutes. And we see that that has generally trended downwards, although it has upticked a little bit in 2020. For citations, we see that the numbers have actually been increasing over time. This is something that the Sheriff's Office is very concerned about, and they will be implementing a quarterly report to investigate this in more detail. When we look at searches, they were only statistically significant in this most recent analysis, where the difference observed for Hispanic drivers versus white drivers is at 0.9%. And then lastly, looking at arrests, we've seen this difference decrease over time from 2.1% in the first traffic stops analysis that CNA conducted to 1.5% in the 2020 analysis. When we look at seizures, we note that there's never been a statistically significant difference observed in seizure rates by race of driver. Note that there's more details in the written report, including some graphs that show the results from that previous chart in a more visually accessible format. To briefly summarize, we do see evidence of disparate outcomes for most of the stop outcomes, and when we compare with the previous annual analyses, we see consistency and statistical significance, although some changes in the observed differences, as I highlighted on the previous slide. Thank you very much.